For this Sightglass Insight series, I am joined by friend and client, Lindsey Jackson. And Lindsey has done something I think a lot of people strive to do in their careers and, is hard enough on its own. But I really admire folks who can take a practice, craft, and expertise. First of all, build a successful business around just that alone. That's enough. Lindsey's about to do it twice. She's successfully founded LTHJ Global, a renowned DEI consulting firm, and she's looking to productize and drive a technology company using all of that incredible experience, practice, and like hard effort. She's going to do it again. Founding once is enough. So, Lindsey, if you could tell us a bit about yourself and your background and how you came to the idea of really turning this into a platform.
It's so interesting. My best friend since I was 15 is birthing right now while we're on this. And I was just remembering the reason I had a second child was because I completely forgot everything that happened with the first child and first birthing experience. So I'm kind of seeing a pattern here. Let me do it a second time because I've completely forgotten. I think that Men in Black, like zing, zing thing is real. And I must be impacted by that. I should look into that. Yes. I think my career has been very much a winding, nonsensical road. Most people are surprised to learn that I started very young, 4 or 5. I was very clear that I wanted to be a professional contemporary dancer. And a professional contemporary dancer or Janet Jackson background dancer, very similar, as we all know. And I, from a very young age, took that very seriously and to the point of being able to test out of high school so that I could start university at 15, so that I could start really pursuing that full time. Mm-hmm. And that, meant I had my graduate degree by the time I was 20. It meant that I found myself overseas studying and dancing and touring multiple continents and continuing my research, which 20 years ago, research into intersectional health modalities, design and delivery was, hippie, airy fairy shit. And now, it's underpinning some of the revolutions that we see in the healthcare systems. But, all of that travel, I've lived across 4 different continents, led to the birth of LTHJ Global. How do I take everything that I learned in my first 2 companies, one in Australia, one in Ireland? How do I take all of that graduate research? How do I take everything that I learned in the world of dance and theater and turn that into a successful company and brand? And that's why I'm here.
Amazing. We've certainly done that. And starting a second company, starting SourjournDEI, the DEI platform, as part of LTHJ Global, as your second one, you're about to make a hat trick, you do one more. It's been such a different landscape now, right? Than when you first did LTHJ Global, such a different landscape. What has, and you've explored lots of different avenues, been just as resourceful as any other founder nowadays. What has the experience been like? Fundraising, talking to ventures, getting people on board, pre-sales, letter of intent, all that stuff that comes with a tech startup. What has it been like from your perspective, kind of entering that space again later on?
It's been kind of like having my second child. Like, you think you're so arrogant when you have one child and, you judge other people. You're like, I don't let my child do that, right? And then you have a second child and you're like, watch as much TV as you want. You want a cookie before bed? Please go ahead, right ahead. I really think that all of the team at LTHJ Global, we thought We had learned some things. We thought we knew what we were getting into, and then we were quickly disillusioned to find that this was unlike anything that we had explored before, which, as you know, is when I called you basically crying, saying, please come fix it. My baby's broken, right? It's just client services work, working, with that clear, here's an hour of work and here's a billable hour that you're going to pay me. And then the world of tech, which is just that sprint cycle, that constantly trying to interrogate customer needs and trying to interrogate what is working in marketing yesterday versus today versus what's it going to be in 6 weeks. Add all of to that the industry that we're in the socio-political scene that we are in. We, at one point a few years ago, were afraid that we couldn't say DEI aloud anymore without it being considered illegal, so it's definitely been a process, lots of sleepless nights, lots of tears. But I think why organizations like ours partner with organizations like yours are you need somebody as a tech founder that you can call and cry to, and they're going to say, not only have I had somebody else who's cried these tears before, but this is the path forward. And so just, our app is called SourjournDEI, and those small sojourns forward are what I would encourage every tech founder to focus on. Not the end game, just one sojourn at a time.
Well, and it's so nice to hear you say that, and is encouraging. Not a lot of people know this, and while we certainly have a commercial relationship, more important is our personal relationship and how we connect and support each other as minority co-founders in our own business journeys. Those phone calls have been pretty mutual. So I know I'm really grateful to be able to pick up the phone and call you as well, Lindsey. And that's something I'd like to hear about more from you and share with other folks who are also having these experiences early on in business. I think the takeaway of a relationship based partnership where it's not just based on a contract or SOW, really based on mutual growth. It's incredibly inspiring and empowering for me as well to be able to call in tears on the phone too. But some of these things, we both could talk a lot about this, but you have so much experience, and again, effectively doing this again with Sojourn, and it's so empowering the second time around, not making a lot of those same mistakes. What are some of the things you think now that minority founders can be prepared for? What's that advice as they look for services, vendors, mutual partnerships? I mean, there's so much you can do in 2023 with starting a company. After your core IP, you could put together a vendor network to finish the rest of your tech product. I mean, that is very different than a long time ago. What has that been like for you as a founder?
Yeah. I mean, just to make it clear for those people out there that maybe don't understand the language that you're using, when John is saying minority founder, he's not referring to we are the minority founder in the spread of ownership of our companies. We're speaking specifically about the experience of being representative of historically targeted and very much currently targeted populations. Anybody who is, been watching the news recently knows that in the context of the United States of America, especially, we are watching as rights for LGBTQIA plus friends, colleagues, CEOs, community members, elders are being taken away. And so I think that there is something in that you and I have been able to develop a shorthand around that. We understand that, yes, we're trying to grow companies. Yes, we are trying to bring innovative products to market. But we are also dealing with families that are being targeted. We are also concerned about our partners going out and walking, safely down the street. And it's not my opinion. There is a lot of research out there for anybody who wants to go and take the time to learn or unlearn. That takes a toll on us as leaders. It cost our families, it cost our friends, it cost our team members, and sometimes it can cost the success of our organization when we are emotionally drained by outside forces that are seemingly outside of our control.
Well, and
And so,
before we move on, I just want to thank you so much for that clarification, because it's something we really have to think about every day, unfortunately.
yeah,
And you were really monumental in helping us as we went through the application process for the National Gay and Lesbian Chamber of Commerce certification. And that was a big lift, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't think twice. If I put this logo on a website, am I maybe not going to get that deal? And
yeah,
unfortunately, that crossed my mind. So having other founders like our relationship that we have, I think is important for anyone starting a business, to just have someone you can talk to about some of these things, these seemingly random things that are going to come up all throughout your entrepreneurship journey. So yes, thank you very much for calling that out and clarifying that for all the folks watching.
yeah, yeah. And I think to what you asked before, in kind of our experience fundraising, our experience in developing partnerships as we've grown, I have started to be more considered in how much of the capacity I have in a day to give to my family, give to my organization, um, give to my 90-pound dog, as you all know, who had to feature in today's episode, right? Like, I cannot also be educating the VC across from me. I cannot also be educating the coach that's meant to be coaching me through this journey, whether it's my go-to-market, whether it is on an acquisition, an acqui-hire, on what I am dealing with every day as a Black female founder, right? You need to have support structures around you that are actually supportive. And I think a lot of young founders make a mistake in assuming that all help is good help.
Hmm.
And if there's one thing that I've learned in, 20 years of running businesses around the world, it is that not all help is good help, and not all people who put up their hand or their sign to help have your best interest at heart.
Yeah, powerful lesson that certainly you hope no one has to learn.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. But I think too that, you know, part of why we built Sojourn DEI was that we saw a gap in the marketplace where there was a large market for DEI work. And yet most people couldn't afford traditional consulting prices. And so we sat in a room, there was lots of chocolate and chips present, and we really thought through what would it look like to pour everything that we do as consultants into a SaaS platform that allows small businesses, that allows small nonprofits to do this work that they are passionate about, and make it affordable, and make sure that they can still get the expertise that they need at the click of a button in
Mm-hmm.
order to drive the work forward. And we tested, we got out of, our house. This is post COVID, restrictions now, and we hand shook, we kissed babies, we did all the testing. And yet we would still come up against, certain advisors, certain VCs that would go, I don't know if this DEI thing is going to stick around. What does the E even stand for? And, that was when we started to go, okay, we're no longer looking for customers or for advisors or VCs that
Mm-hmm.
don't understand the product, that don't understand the need. And that pivot, that real focus on, we know that there's a sizable market here. We know that there's a desire to do this work. We know that there is a desire to fund this work. That helped us clear out all of the cobwebs, all of the mess, all of the wasted time to really get Sojourn to where it is now.
Amazing. And you kind of touched on it, but I'd love if you could explore it a little further. It's not very common that a non-technical person would start a tech company. And we've talked about the background and the journey to that and your experience already in going out for funding and meeting with potential customers. But what's been the biggest surprise for you as you've worked to bring Sojourn to market, as someone without an engineering background getting into this space?
I think one thing, I don't want to say, I'm going to get in a lot of trouble here, but I think one of the things that is the most surprising is that good leadership will find a way despite the troubled water you're in,
Mm,
right? And so, no, I don't have a technical background, but I have an amazing team. I trust them and they trust me. And there is not a problem set that you could put in front of my team that I don't think that they could solve. Right. And so the delta wasn't in passion. The delta wasn't in the expertise required to fill Sojourn, which is a very content heavy SaaS platform. The delta was in the ability to synthesize all of our ideas into wireframes,
amazing.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we went out and we got that, right? Janine Spence, who is a well-respected tech leader, tech synthesizer, if you will, she had the type of patience to really sit and go, tell me it one more time, right? Is it this or is it that? Is it A or is it B? And again, I think that goes back to, sometimes I see leaders make the mistake of, they go find somebody who they begin the conversation treating you like you're stupid,
Yeah.
treating you like you're a non-tech founder. And when we went to Janine, when we came to you and the team at Sightglass, we were looking for people that understood that an engineering degree does not a successful product make. It is the ability to continue pivoting, the willingness to say, I don't know, but give me time and I will know if you tell me that that's what I need to know. I'm not always sure. And, I study sociometry, so my study is not complete, but I'm not always sure that that is a skill you can teach.
Mm-hmm.
Or if it is a very challenging one to teach. Those types of people that can come together to say, we like each other enough, we respect each other enough that we just like the process of solving problems together.
There's a real theme emerging from you talking about both of your journeys and the one you're currently on around partnerships and
Mm,
relationships. Janine has obviously been just an incredibly positive force on helping translate all of those raw materials into a technical product. I think that's fantastic. So many founders are trying to be everything.
yes.
And this grind culture that just is insane to me because I think if you don't unplug, you go nuts and then you end up hitting
Mm,
everyone else around you as you spin and like, oh my gosh. And it's tempting, right? Maybe if you do that one more email, your business will grow. But you gotta learn to really be prepared for a marathon. And what I'm hearing is one of your big secrets to success in these marathons is just those relationships and the trust you've built up over time with them.
absolutely. I mean, I truly believe that we are moving into a relationships economy, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in the next 50 to 100 years, everything that we think about money and, this value attached to this piece of paper, lots of efforts to really make that dissolve. And so you're then left with a lot of people in a relationship economy that have no skills to build relationships,
Mm,
right? They exist in spaces with people, but do not understand how to work across difference, do not understand how to have healthy conflict that sometimes leads to resolution, that sometimes does not lead to resolution.
yeah.
We at LTHJ Global really believe that relationships are going to be the difference between successful companies and the Kodaks of the world. And I
Mm,
always use that example. Eric Ries pointed out that, Kodak thought, this digital thing is going to kind of just blow over, right? And then when's the last time you pulled out a Kodak camera at a wedding to,
yep.
right? Any founder, any leader right now who is thinking that they do not need to invest in teaching their teams how to build relationship, how to leverage diversity, how to solve for inequities, how to build inclusive cultures, they're going to be the Kodak of their time.
Yeah.
And we'll think of them fondly.
And, you know, uh, this really gets my mind going. Every time I talk to you about Sojourn, I think about a different way I want to use it. And for our last kind of topic here, and what really gets me excited at the end of the day is if you're using Sojourn DI correctly, right, and it's in your company and it's being leveraged broadly. What I'm so excited about is you hear about in HR, in DE&I, as you build a growing and scaling team, you hear, and it's a no-brainer, obviously, more diversity is going to have different and better outcomes. No
Yes.
duh. But people only hear about the endpoint.
Mm,
So it's hard to contextualize that to your scenario and understand, well, how do I actually make sure that's happening? And how do I make sure that I'm getting that? And it almost seems too easy, but just with Sojourn DEI, being able to see the impact and connect the dots is what I'm most excited about and what we use it for at Sightglass. And so when we think about how those metrics grow, it's really like kind of lets you, well, it doesn't kind of, I mean, it lets you show off, which is great because you just want to show off your team. I mean, as a founder, there's nothing more exciting than being to celebrate and show off your team. And really, you got an investor knocking on you, put some data behind that.
yes.
And you
Yes.
walk the walk. And I love that Sojourn DI really enables that. And so tell me something that gets you excited about taking this product to market.
First of all, thank you for saying that. I'm always it's like showing somebody your baby. You're like, no, but I think my baby is cute. But do you think my baby's cute? No, wait, do you really think my baby's cute? Kiss it, kiss it. Thank you. I think One, people are still always shocked by the price. They think we're joking. We're like, no, we did the research, and right now, for an organization, that's the price, $149 per month. Yes, our consulting services, that line is very different, and that has a very specific market and need of why it is priced that way. But for these small and mid-sized businesses, we know what your budget is. We know what the line item that you can assign to people development, to culture building, and this is a price that came from your needs. And so I love that when I'm sitting with this CEO who's so passionate about it, this ED, the DEI committee leader that's like, I'm going to be able to bring this back and it's going to be an immediate yes. Like, thank you so much for that. But I think the thing that I love doing, and so, I'm always joking with the team, like, I'm going full into Sojourn. I'm not doing any consulting work anymore, is our DEI manager button, where just at a click, you have an expert DEI leader on the other end, and you can get advice. You can get them to help you work through a sticky situation. You can ask about one aspect of the initiative that you are rolling out, about a training, about, one of the tools in Sojourn. That type of feeling when you're working with somebody who's in it, they're doing it, and they're problem solving right then, and they just want your help, is so delicious. And, I just on my phone helping somebody through a little sticky situation. I absolutely love that. That you feel like you're actually making a difference.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't want to be a hater to all the other tech, leaders out there, tech platforms out there, but I do this work every day because I believe that technology can help us solve some of our world's biggest problems. And so when you have that moment where you really solved a problem that will be a ripple for hundreds of people in an organization, come on. Yeah. That's why we get up in the morning.
Feels pretty great. Well, Lindsey, as always, this was wonderful. Thanks for taking the time today and talking with us.
Thank you, sweetie.
We'll see you soon. And thanks everyone for joining us today for the Sightglass Insight webinar showcasing LTHJ Global and, more importantly, Sojourn DEI. We hope to see you all again next time. Take care.